Happy December 26th, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today, the only daily show bringing you MicroStrategy updates, insights, intel 7 days a week. We have a great show today. Russia's embracing Bitcoin as a trade vehicle. The best article that I've seen in mainstream media about MicroStrategy by a long shot. I've got a couple great video clips, one from Chamath and one from, of course, Michael Saylor himself. So much good stuff coming here today. And I want to thank everybody yesterday who went ahead and gave me that gift of a follow on Twitter. I'm starting to post some really great things there. MicroStrategy. It's right here. And one request for today is let us know where you're coming from. The comment sections have been amazing. People have been giving us shout outs about where they're coming from, what they love, what they're curious about, their questions. Put it all in the comments. If you want to right now, hit the pause button. Let me know where you're watching this video from. It's an international community and we're having so much fun. So there is no financial advice in this video. This is just opinions by myself. Do your own research and let's dive in to the tracker. The stock price right now is at 358, was up 7.81% at the close of the last business day. It's down a little bit in pre-market as Bitcoin is down, and we'll see what happens there. It's 107 of 500 in the S&P 500 rankings. Right now, the Bitcoin price is at 95.5. The Bitcoin balance is at 444,262 Bitcoin. The Bitcoin value per basic share, the number that Michael Saylor cares about, the number that you and I should really be caring about, that is at $173 for a NAV premium of 2.066. Right now, the unrealized profit loss is just under 15 billion with a return percentage of 53%. The Bitcoin yield to date, 73%, and the quarter to date is 47%. Those are insanely high numbers. Wow. Love seeing that. Let's move on to the first news article. Bitcoin price holds steady near 98,000. Of course, we know it's down to 95,000 now, but and this is as Russia embraces Bitcoin for trade and MicroStrategy expands holdings. So this is a great double whammy article where a lot of people are going to be drawn in by like, wait a second, Russia's embracing Bitcoin for trade. What does that mean? Because that's obviously very huge news. And then they're going to also see the headline that MicroStrategy is expanding its holdings. So it's kind of like a double benefit here. Wu Blockchain here says, according to Reuters, Russia's finance minister said on Wednesday that Russia legislation has changed to allow companies to use Bitcoin and other digital currencies in international payments and take steps to legalize the mining of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin. And then there's another headliner down there about MicroStrategy fueling Bitcoin rally with aggressive accumulation. And they're talking about what MicroStrategy is up to. Bitcoin rose on Thursday after the digital asset stockpiler MicroStrategy announced a plan to issue more shares, a move that would allow it to buy even more tokens. So again, want to go over some articles that are very meaningful. And this next one, I think, is something I wanted to chat a little bit about because MicroStrategy is the best performing crypto stock of the year. It's up 402%. I hope a lot of you watching captured at least some of that. And again, if you didn't, I think 2025, in my opinion, is going to be a great year for a lot of reasons. We have a lot to report on, a lot of great catalysts. I'm going to start reporting on catalysts once again in early 2025 because we'll be getting closer to some really big ones then. And this is just an article about MicroStrategy's incredible performance. I wanted to dive into this article right here about MicroStrategy's plans for a special shareholder vote to support its $42 billion Bitcoin acquisition strategy. Michael Saylor says proposals support the 2121 plan. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I wanted to dive even more into this because, again, a lot of people like to go for fear first when they see any kind of announcement. And when a lot of individuals saw that Michael Saylor wanted to have a proposal to add 10 billion shares that they had access to go forward into the future, a lot of people just assumed, oh my God, he's dumping 10 billion shares into 330 million outstanding shares. It's going to dilute the stock down to zero. Of course not. One thing that I really hope a lot of people understand that watch this channel, because I keep bringing this over and over again. And if you haven't watched my complete history of MicroStrategy, please do, because I really believe that presentation and those clips will help you get a lot clearer understanding of Michael Saylor and what he's trying to do here. Michael Saylor is the biggest shareholder of MicroStrategy. He wants to do what's best for you, the shareholder, what's best for me, the shareholder, and what's best for him as the largest percentage shareholder of MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor has made it very clear. You are his partner. I am his partner. Shareholders are his partner, our MicroStrategy's partner. And everything he does is with us in focus. All the financial instruments that he's creating is to help MicroStrategy, the stock, perform better, your equity perform better, my equity perform better. He is solely focused on improving your Bitcoin yield, my Bitcoin yield, because he knows that that is the KPI that's going to drive stock price up over time. Not immediately. It's meant to be a volatile stock to the up and to the bottom because, as we know, volatility, it's a feature. It's not a bug. So just understand that what Michael Saylor is doing, his whole plan, MicroStrategy's whole plan, these amazing people that he's bringing onto the board, their whole plan is to make MicroStrategy the Bitcoin corporation company of the world. Period. End of story. Now, who does that benefit? You, me, the equity shareholders. I wanted to go through this article. This is actually the best mainstream article. This is on MSN.com. This is the best mainstream article that I've ever seen or read to date. There's been some great ones that have come from, some more kind of random independent news and media organizations. But as far as mainstream goes, this one's the best, in my opinion, by a decent long shot. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to kind of skim through it right now, but I will put the link in the show notes. And this is all about MicroStrategy bears are in for a painful short squeeze next year. And they just go through, how MicroStrategy did take a high stake gamble with Bitcoin, but they stuck with it. They rode through the bear, they rode through the winter, and they've been through the roller coaster right here. But at the end of the day, if Bitcoin does what you want and expect it to do, what I both want and expect it to do, if our thesis about Bitcoin being the digital capital of the future, and by the way, of the present as well, then MicroStrategy has an amazing 2025 and beyond ahead of us. Yes, there's going to be drawbacks. There's going to be volatility because that is what brings life and fire to the stock. And Michael Saylor looks for the volatility. He looks for the equity because he knows that's what keeps this flame alive that he's doing. So read this article in full. I highly recommend it. I'll put the link in the show notes below. And let's move on to a few great tweets. The Bitcoin therapist. Just look at this chart. Michael Saylor has been relentlessly accumulating Bitcoin since 2020, but look at what he's done in this past month. It's absolutely insane. Do you think that Michael Saylor might know something that you and I don't maybe have access to, news and knowledge-wise? Do you think he's maybe having conversations with people and nations and other individuals and leaders that has him saying, holy crap, I need to acquire as much as possible as I can now? Do you think that's happening? Maybe. I know that Michael Saylor always refers back to 2020 when he kind of woke up in the middle of the night, like many Bitcoiners, by the way, have claimed has happened to them as well, where he woke up in the middle of the night and he was like, oh my God, I finally get it. The light bulb has gone on. I totally understand what is happening with Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is, its future, how it's going to dominate the digital capital preservation of the world going forward. It just clicked for him, like it's clicked for so many others. And what was he terrified about back in 2020? That other people were going to figure it out before he could accumulate enough. And that's what he's been trying to do for the past 4 years. And I have no doubt that he feels like these past 4 years have been an absolute gift, because I doubt he thought he had this much time to accumulate. Eric Semler of Semler Scientific. This is the, one of the more recent companies that's adopted the MicroStrategy strategy. He says, why haven't more public companies adopted a Bitcoin treasury strategy? Many people instinctually see new and unfamiliar things as risky, but sometimes the new and unfamiliar is the safer and more responsible strategic option. I believe this is one of those times. In the near future, I predict it will be considered irresponsible for public companies not to own Bitcoin on their balance sheets. For 44.6 thousand views on this, and Semler Scientific is really going in on this. They have bought in to the Bitcoin strategy. Let's talk about the Bitcoin therapist. Are you paying attention yet? He asks. Because Luke shares, wait, so if Metaplanet is the best performing stock in Japan, MicroStrategy, best performing stock in the USA, Bitcoin, the best performing commodity, MSTR, convertible bonds, the best performing, the Bitcoin ETF, the most successful ETF launch ever, and the fastest growing network, are we winning? Question mark. It's a question that I don't think you and I are asking because we know that we're winning, but it's a question that a lot of people should be asking themselves. Then I want to just share this tweet from Punter Jeff, oh man, these guys over here at MSTR North, they have shared so much great content over my journey with MicroStrategy. I love they have episodes every single Wednesday. They're not going to have a new one till 2025 because of the holidays. But I'm here for you guys until then, giving you an episode every single day to make up for that gap. But I'll tell you, these guys, Jeff, Ben, the tweets that I share from these individuals, there's others as well, Dan Hillary, even Grain of Salt, Adrian. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize. But they are just all doing great things over at MSTR North. I've learned so much from them, and he's got a feeling that 2025 will be incredible. It will be fun to reflect this time next year. And that's just 1 year from now. Think about how fast last year went. Well, in 1 year, I'll still be doing this daily show. That's a pledge from me to you. And we're going to be having a fun year in review, in my opinion. Next, I have a couple great video clips I want to share. The first one's from Chamath, which I think you're going to find pretty entertaining. He's having a little chat with Jason Calacanis. I'm not sure Jason loves his answer, but I'll let you decide on that. And then I dug up, of course, an epic Saylor clip that I want you to enjoy because, again, these words that come out of his mouth, they're just so consistent and they're just, in my opinion, so true. So my friends, enjoy the videos.
Who's the best investor of 2024 in your mind besides yourself?
I was going to say me, but
we know.
I'd give it to Michael Saylor. I think that,
whoa, Bitcoin Max is in the back.
He's found this incredible, he's an investor. I mean, he's the executive chairman of MicroStrategy, so he's not really involved into the day-to-day. He's really running their Bitcoin position, and he's created this massively levered long Bitcoin play. He's borrowing money at essentially zero. It's his returns are bananas right now.
What could go wrong?
Is the first perfect money in the history of the human race. I spend my copious free time reading economic history, and I've read thousands of years of economic history and tens of thousands of pages, and it's one chaotic, disaster train wreck of, we used seashells, we used bales of tobacco, we used silver and gold, and we clipped the coins, and we had bimetallism and it crashed, and we had fiat currency, and we had a debt crisis, and no one ever had a money that was not defective. I mean, I can show you examples of monetary crashes every 30 years for the past 3,000 years in every single culture. And Satoshi comes along for the first time and says, oh yeah, here's money, it's not broken. And it's so profound. It's like, you look at this water, you sit down at a table and the poor person thinks, oh, I got to drink water. And the rich person wants to drink $1,000 bottle of champagne or wine or something. But for 100,000 years, humans didn't have clean water. Right? And if you read the history of civilization, people are dying in their 30s and 40s and 20s because the water's dirty, because they're getting infected. If you were Henry VIII, you didn't have clean water. The reason they all had gout is they had to drink wine with alcohol in it, and they ended up with degradation of their limbs because they didn't have clean water. So we only have clean water, clean air, clean food that doesn't kill us. We only have it for the past 100 years. We had dirty money from 3 million BC all the way up to January 3rd, 2009. We have dirty money, and there's one guy that actually finally gives us clean money, non-toxic. It does not kill us. So is it spiritual? Yeah, it's spiritual. It's like, what happens when I inject poison and toxic into the veins of my kids? They're dying. It's like forcible chemotherapy to a 12-year-old athlete. That's the problem. All these companies have a useful life expectancy of 10 to 15 years. You know why? Because the capital is toxic, because the money that they capitalize on is toxic. It's sucking the life out of them. Satoshi comes along and he gives you non-toxic money. And who else did it before him? Nobody. Nobody. So you got to actually hold with reverence the person that actually gave the human race the first clean, perfected money. And you look after that point, you're like, oh man, like we're not dying anymore. Infant mortality rate's 40% before clean water. It's like 4 out of 10 of your kids are going to drop dead. And I give you clean water and I say, take this, it won't kill them. And you're like, well, what? So the point is, it's a pretty profound paradigm shift. And it's for those of us who are maximalist, that actually believe Bitcoin is an ethical imperative. It's an instrument of economic empowerment. We're just very protective of Satoshi. We don't like what anybody pokes at Satoshi, right?
There you have it. Another day of MicroStrategy Today is in the books. I truly hope you enjoyed it. Please do take my call to action if you haven't yet, because the video is pretty much done. Press the pause button and just put in the comment section, where are you from? I would love to know more about where this community is coming from. I know it's international. You be as specific as possible. I would love for the community to see that so that we can just see in the comments, what an amazing, cohesive, but international community that we have. Remember, nothing that we talk about here is financial advice. Do your own research, consult a financial professional before making any decisions. And I want to thank NordVPN for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, NordVPN, for protecting my online identity, for protecting the online identity of my family. You can get the link to my affiliate link for NordVPN right below for a special offer. They're still having a great holiday deal for just a few dollars per month. You can get on a VPN service like NordVPN. And my friends, as Michael Saylor would say, there is no second best.